Alright, so in today's video, let's talk about one of my favorite genres, futuristic games. From visually stunning landscapes to mind-bending technology, I've got 15 incredible titles that will transport you to different futuristic worlds. So let's jump into it. Horizon Zero Dawn is one of those games that blends post-apocalyptic and futuristic settings in the most captivating way. I remember the first time I stepped into this world. It's a future where nature has reclaimed the Earth, but these robotic creatures dominate the landscape. You play as Aloy, a skilled hunter using your wits and futuristic gadgets to survive. The first time I took down one of those massive thunderjaws, I was hooked. The game's crafting system and combat are incredibly satisfying, and the story is full of unexpected twists. The mix of old-world tribal society and high-tech machines makes this game's world feel both mysterious and alive. Detroit Become Human really stuck with me long after I finished it. In this near-future setting, androids serve humans, but they're starting to become self-aware. You get to control 3 different androids, and the choices you make determine the fate of not only these characters, but the entire world. I remember playing as Connor the android detective and sweating through some of the decision-making moments. The tension is real. What I love about this game is how it forces you to question humanity and technology. It's one of the few games that made me pause and think, what if this really happens someday? Every playthrough feels like a different story because of the branching paths.
When I'm outside the city, I'll let her go. That's impossible, Daniel. Let the girl go, and I promise you won't be hurt. I don't want to die. You're not going to die. We're just going to talk. Nothing will happen to you. You have my word.
Now, Control, where do I even begin? The oldest house is one of the coolest, weirdest places I've ever explored in a game. Imagine walking into a brutalist government building that constantly changes its layout. Yeah, it's like that. You play as Jesse Faden and you gain some really crazy abilities like telekinesis. Flinging objects at enemies using nothing but the power of your mind never gets old. The combat in Control is some of the most satisfying I've experienced in an action game, and the story? It's a wild ride. You're never really sure what's real or what's part of the mysterious Bureau's secrets. If you like futuristic settings mixed with supernatural powers, this one's a must-play. As someone who played the original Final Fantasy VII way back in the day, the remake was like stepping into a dream. The reimagined Midgar feels more alive and futuristic than ever. From the towering skyscrapers to the slums underneath, you can really feel how technology has shaped society in this world. The combat is a great blend of real-time action and classic RPG elements, and I loved being able to switch between characters like Cloud Tifa and Barret. The first time I saw Midgar's neon-lit skyline again after so many years, it gave me chills. And let's be honest, that bike chase scene with Cloud, absolutely epic.
Come on, let's push it past the red line!
Jesse, take over.
Huh?
Hideo Kojima really delivered something different with Death Stranding. This game is all about connecting people in a fractured future, and you do that by delivering packages, but it's so much more than that. As Sam Bridges, you traverse a desolate America carrying supplies to isolated cities. It's weird, it's emotional, and the futuristic tech like the floating carriers or exoskeleton suits adds a lot to the gameplay. I remember setting out on long journeys through the rain-soaked landscapes, avoiding BTs, those ghost-like entities, and it was just a vibe. This game is about the journey more than the destination, and it has some of the most unique mechanics I've ever seen. Dead Space is not just a futuristic game, it's a sci-fi horror masterpiece. Set on a massive space mining ship, you play as Isaac Clarke, and let me tell you, the atmosphere is terrifying. The futuristic setting really adds to the tension because everything is advanced, except when it's broken down, and that's when the real horror kicks in. The necromorphs, which are mutated crew members, are some of the creepiest enemies in gaming. I still remember the first time one of those things jumped out of an air vent. It gave me serious chills. The mix of high-tech gadgets and the fight for survival is what makes Dead Space a classic. Stellar Blade is an action-adventure game developed by Shift Up and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. The game follows the protagonist Eve as she fights to save humanity from monstrous creatures in a post-apocalyptic Earth. Eve, along with her comrades, arrives on Earth to reclaim it and protect the last remnants of humanity. Throughout her journey, she encounters various characters, each with their own backstories and motivations which add depth to the narrative. The story explores themes of survival, hope, and the struggle against overwhelming odds. The game combines intense combat with a rich emotional storyline, making it a compelling experience for players who enjoy action-adventure games with a strong narrative focus. Nier Automata is one of those rare gems that makes you think about the future in ways you never imagined. You play as androids fighting in a war against machines, but it's so much more than just an action RPG. The world is beautifully bleak and the combat is smooth and satisfying. I remember when I first played as 2B, the sheer fluidity of the combat blew me away. Plus, the story gets deep, asking questions about existence, purpose, and humanity's legacy. I'll never forget the twists in this game. It kept me thinking about it long after the credits rolled. If you love the Star Wars universe, Jedi Survivor is a no-brainer. Cal Kestis returns as the Jedi on the run from the Empire, and the futuristic elements in this game are some of the best in the series. I love jumping into these beautifully crafted planets with lightsaber combat that feels just right. Using the Force to push enemies deflecting blaster shots, it's every Star Wars fan's dream. The exploration is rewarding too, especially when you uncover hidden Jedi secrets and futuristic tech scattered across the galaxy. Every time I fire up this game, it's like being in my own personal Star Wars movie.
Get ready, enemy approaching. Opening fire. Stop it!
Enslaved Odyssey to the West is a game that I feel didn't get the attention it deserved. It takes place in a world where robots dominate and humanity is struggling to survive. You play as Monkey, a tough-as-nails warrior who's forced to protect Trip, a tech-savvy girl. Together they journey through a world that's both futuristic and overrun by nature. The chemistry between the two characters is fantastic, and the visuals are stunning. I remember being blown away by how vibrant the post-apocalyptic world looked. The way technology is integrated into the landscape gives the world a unique vibe that's hard to forget. While The Last of Us Part 1 may not scream futuristic at first glance, it's a haunting glimpse into a world where humanity has fallen. Technology still plays a role, but it's overshadowed by the struggle for survival. What makes this game stand out is the emotional journey of Joel and Ellie. I've played this game multiple times, and every time I find new layers to their relationship and the world they're living in. The idea of a future where society collapses is terrifying, but The Last of Us delivers that in such a personal way. The game is a reminder of what could happen when technology and humanity fall apart. Atomic Heart is one of the most unique futuristic games I've ever played. Set in an alternate reality where the Soviet Union is at the forefront of advanced technology, this game mixes retro aesthetics with futuristic tech in ways that are downright weird. The combat is intense with a mix of melee and ranged weapons, and the enemy designs are just bizarre. I remember the first time I fought one of those creepy smiling robots. It was both terrifying and fascinating. The world is filled with secrets, and the atmosphere is so strange yet intriguing that I couldn't stop exploring. If you thought Ghostrunner was intense, wait until you experience Ghostrunner 2. This sequel ramps up everything you loved about the original: fast-paced parkour, brutal combat, and a stunningly detailed cyberpunk world. But now it adds even more dynamic environments, including outdoor levels that make the game feel more expansive. I can't get enough of how fluid the movement is, leaping from walls, dodging bullets in midair, and delivering precise sword strikes, all while keeping up with the non-stop action. If you're looking for a high-octane challenge set in a dystopian future, Ghostrunner 2 is an absolute rush. Remember Me may have flown under the radar for some, but it's an incredibly unique take on a futuristic world where memories are a commodity. Set in Neo-Paris, you play as Neelin, a memory hunter who can remix and manipulate people's memories to achieve her goals. The concept of memory hacking is fascinating, and it adds a fresh twist to combat and puzzle solving. I remember the first time I rewrote someone's memory, it completely shifted the story and how I saw the characters. The futuristic cityscape of Paris is stunning, and the game's themes of identity control and technology feel more relevant today than ever. It's an underrated gem that every fan of sci-fi should check out. Despite its rocky launch, Cyberpunk 2077 has become one of the most immersive futuristic games out there. Night City is unlike anything I've ever explored in a game. The neon lights, towering skyscrapers, and underground clubs make it feel alive. Playing as a mercenary trying to survive in this tech-obsessed future gives you a ton of freedom in how you approach missions. I loved customizing my character with cybernetic upgrades and diving into the heart of this dystopian world. The first time I drove through Night City at night, I couldn't believe how detailed everything was. It's a vision of the future that feels both exciting and terrifying. So there you have it, 15 futuristic games that will take you on some wild adventures. Let me know in the comments which of these games is your favorite, or if there's another futuristic title I should check out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on more gaming content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the future.